Hello everyone! I'm gonna finally start making some content for my YouTube channel, and I'm probably gonna post this on some other venues as well, but I wanted to stop procrastinating and tell you a little bit about who I am. And first I want to start off with just saying that it's been about the 2-year anniversary of the Democratic primary and the 2016 election very recently. And I don't know about you, but my life has gone through tipsy-turvy, lots of changes and lots of people coming and going and lots of excitement like that. So I want to just kind of get into what I mean by that. About 2 years ago, before the primary, I had supported Bernie Sanders in the primary. Before I sort of heard about a lot of things on the mainstream media disparaging him, and then I, stupidly enough, fell for the whole spiel, and I ended up voting for Hillary Clinton in the primary, and then I woke up very soon after that. So what happened? So in Philadelphia, a little over 2 years ago, the Democratic National Convention happened, and that was an absolute fiasco. As we all know, Bernie Sanders capitulated, and he didn't even fight for the nomination. He just rolled over and supported the corrupt installed candidate who wanted a coronation instead of nomination and election. And I started listening to some alternative YouTube channels. One was Secular Talk, the other one was the Jimmy Dore show, and I started to really listen to what people were saying. They were being very critical of Hillary Clinton, and I started to hear some facts that I'd never even heard of before. Some of her involvement in the coup in Honduras that overthrew a democratically elected leader there, her involvement with Libya in conjunction with Barack Obama. They destroyed an entire country that used to be the most prosperous country in Africa, highest standard of living of any nation in Africa. Now they have open air slave slave auctions, and just all the dishonesty that went on with that came out with through the WikiLeaks emails, her speeches to Goldman Sachs, and she has a private face and a public face, and all of the emails that came out that revealed the utter corruption of her as not only a human being but as a candidate, and corruption and just moral garbage throughout her entire leadership in her campaign, and just all the collusion that happened with her selling 20% of U.S. uranium capacity to Russia a few years back, and we could go on and on. Okay, so what happened? So I started hearing these truths. I quickly started to change my mind about the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton. I had been a Democrat my whole entire life, and I was one of those vote blue no matter who, and I would kind of look at the mailers as I received them before the elections, and I would just sort of go down the list and vote for the endorsed candidates, and I thought that I was somehow being responsible. But anyway, so long story short, I woke up, I started listening to people like Jill Stein, who was running for president under the Green Party ticket, and I started to really reject the Democratic Party and any establishment corporate party, and I started to see them for what they are. A corporate duopoly that just has a stranglehold on the country, and who is just keeping us sort of tied to this notion that a politician or a political party will somehow save the day because the other guys are worse, right? Okay, so I started to listen to these things. I started to read, and I started to get very vocal on social media like Facebook, and I had made it pretty much like a practice to never post political things on Twitter and Facebook, and the election completely changed that, and I started just kind of going berserk with really ranty, aggressive social media posts on Facebook, and I started pissing a lot of people off. And as a gay man, like almost all of the gay community was in the tank for Hillary Clinton, and they just all came at me like just like attack dogs, and they were calling me conspiracy theorists, and they were they were mocking me and gaslighting me, and just completely just harassing me online. And so it became very uncomfortable very quickly. And I was like, well, fuck it, I don't care. And I have actually a lot of misgivings about the gay community in general, and just sort of the dysfunctional dynamics that happen there. And just to kind of let you know who I am not a person who really puts a lot of emphasis on the superficial, like what I'm wearing and where I'm going and who I'm with, and the car that I drive. And a lot of the gay community is about that. They're about like the Hollywood like Oscar parties, and they want to see the glitz and glamour, and they're not really so much emphasis. They don't really put a lot of emphasis on like depth and intimacy and stuff like that. And so I kind of reject that anyway. But then the election coming along, and these kinds of things happening, like these fights on Twitter and Facebook, like really just kind of like jarred me, and got me, just sort of pushed me to the point where I finally said, okay, there's a lot of people that I've known for many, many years, some of them sort of superficially, others not so superficially, but in the end, I ended up unfriending about 300 people that I know. And that was what I thought was the best thing at the time. And some of the new people that I had met through the Green Party, they would sort of chime in on some of these Facebook posts and the threads that got kind of out of control, and they would just say, man, you need to get a new tribe, you need to get some new friends. And these people aren't your tribe anymore. So I really listened to that, and I just said, fuck it, I don't want to talk to these people, I don't want to see these people. And actually some people who I'd been actually close friends with, I had some unfortunate conversations before the general election, and that really led me to believe and understand that, like, I'm talking to people, and I'm friends with people who they just don't hold the same values as me. So, if you are a person who supports Hillary Clinton, she is a walking, talking scandal machine. She is a war criminal. She is a deep state mafia queen who wanted to be coronated, and she's all about war and Wall Street and bank bailouts and screwing over the working class, screwing over the poor, just like her husband Bill Clinton, and I can just go on and on. So I made a shift, and I kind of went out into the wilderness by myself and said, like, one of my friends, or a wise person that I know, has been known to say, there are worse things than being alone. And, for example, you could be around a bunch of assholes who don't have the same values as you, and who have like absolutely zero moral compass. So I said, okay, well, I would rather have maybe one or two friends that I can talk to about this stuff who are also sort of awake, and I'd rather have that than, associate with a bunch of like frothing at the mouth, like cult follower disciples of Hillary Clinton. And the whole thing just made me sick to my stomach. And I'm sure that many of you out there can relate to that. So what does that mean? Where does that leave me today? So I have completely tuned out the corporate media, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post, CNN. Those are like basically just total garbage and fake news to me. And I've embraced some alternative media, both in print and on YouTube, and Steemit, BitChute. I've really started listening to some people who are really real truth tellers, and they're not afraid to tell the truth, and that's who I gravitate to. So And I have some new friends. I don't have as many superficial acquaintances that I used to have, but I have some very close, intimate friends with whom I connect on a very deep level, and we talk about these kinds of things, and we're sort of like sort of on the same wavelength, and so I wanted to just make this video not so much to like have a rant or like have people feel sorry for me, anything like that, but I just wanted to open up some space to let some people in and reach out in case you have been feeling this way and have gone through some sort of big change over the past 2 years. And and by the way, like, I've rejected all political labels. Like, I joined the Green Party and was involved for a little bit, but I quickly became disillusioned by that. And at this point, I don't consider myself a liberal or a conservative or a socialist or a libertarian or anything like that. I just think that all that is nonsense, and we just all need to be human and connect with each other. Because at the end of the day, whether you're a Republican or Democrat or libertarian or green or socialist or alt-right or alt-left, we all deep down inside want the same things. We want a safe, clean world where we can be happy and healthy and prosperous. Those are just kind of some universal things that people want. And, the way to get there may be up for debate. But at the end of the day, just as human beings, we have a lot more in common than we have differences. So I wanted to just see what your experience has been over the past 2 years with both social media and with friends, with family. How do you talk to your family about things that are difficult to talk with? Maybe you're a Trump supporter and you haven't been a Republican in the past, but now you have some inclinations to support some things that President Trump has done, or just the anti-establishment tack that he took during the campaign. And initially, when he first took office, people thought, oh, he's anti-establishment, he's going to really shake things up. What have your conversations been like with your coworkers and your neighbors and your friends and your family? Have you been shunned? Have you been kind of thrown out by yourself? Have you had to like totally search out like a new tribe, like like I alluded to? Just want to open up some space for that. And I'm not sure what my channel is going to be like. I'm sort of just starting out. I am very interested in some causes like the Palestinian liberation cause and stuff like that. So, but I just have a lot of varied interest, and I just want to see what you guys are interested in and what your experience is, and just let me know what you think. So, thanks for listening.